Yo, YouTube, what is up? It's your boy Damn D, and today I want to play the audio of Skip Bayless on Undisputed today. This is what he had to say to try to cover up his tracks. Y'all leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Skip Bayless.
Oh my God, what has happened? In all my years, I've never seen anything like this, because obviously I've seen horrific injuries. I wasn't there the night that Daryl Stingley got paralyzed by Jack Tatum. It was a preseason game, August of 1978. But I was watching Monday Night Football when a guy who became a very good friend of mine, Joe Theismann, got his leg broken by Lawrence Taylor, compound fracture where the bone came through the skin. It was horrific. And the game stopped for a while, but the show must go on. And that was always the NFL's attitude is, next man up, the show must go on. Maybe we've had an awakening here because the show didn't go on last night for the first time in the history of this league, that a life and death situation took precedence over next man up football. So at that point, I had tweeted twice already. My first tweet ended with that I just said a prayer for Damar and his family. My second tweet was about so many horrific injuries, but this is very different, in all caps. And then, which I believe was widely misconstrued, misinterpreted. I don't follow what's happening on Twitter. I just tweet. But my boss here at Fox called and said, hey, people are really reacting strongly to your tweet. Maybe you should clarify, which I immediately did. But my first tweet was simply, as a journalist, I was putting myself in the heads of the NFL executives, starting with Roger Goodell, who were having to figure out on the fly what to do here. And I stated the glaringly obvious, which is that no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game. This is right in the middle of the vortex of this situation when it was unclear what they were going to do with the game. But I made the point that this late in the season, that with a game of this magnitude, it's very difficult to postpone it. Yet the end of my tweet was, all of which suddenly seems so irrelevant. For the first time in the history of the NFL, my point was, it was all rendered irrelevant by what was happening on the football field in front of all those football players, those gladiators, those warriors. They were shaken to their foundations. So I immediately didn't retweet, I just clarified. And I'll state it again, nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him, and I will continue to pray for him. That's what I tweeted at the end of the night. I did pray for Damar and his family soon after it happened, and again before I went to sleep last night. And I didn't sleep much, knowing that we did have a show that we might or might not do. So now, the NFL has done exactly the right thing. They have postponed. I have no idea how they're going to make this game up, and I don't care. All that matters now is that that young man who had his NFL life before him remains in critical condition in a Cincinnati hospital. All that matters. Way to go, NFL. Finally, we were all able to rise above the game of football and how important it is in many of our lives and say, no, this is all that matters. And now we go forward and we hope and pray that this young man can recover fairly quickly. I have no idea about his status. I'm sure maybe even during the show we'll get some updates on that status. All I know for sure is that he was in grave danger last night. And by the looks on the faces of both the Bills and the Bengals, they had all looked into the face of a man struggling for his life. Never happened in the history of the National Football League. Again, I've been through so much with this league. I'm old enough to go all the way back to the Kennedy assassination. JFK was assassinated on, as you recall, it was November 22nd of 1963. Pete Rozelle was the commissioner. That was a Friday. I was in grade school, Mayfair Elementary, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 5th grade, I believe. All of a sudden, Mrs. Hoover came in to our class and said, our president has been shot and we should all go home and pray for him. And yet the NFL, which had games scheduled for that Sunday, opted to go ahead and play. Their premise being that the country needs us to play because the country needs some escape from the trauma of our president being assassinated. And Pete Rozelle later admitted it was his only regret as commissioner. He made a big mistake. Obviously, 9/11, that next weekend after 9/11, they did not play on the 16th, 17th, did play on the 23rd, while obviously honoring the fallen and the dead, the heroes. It's tough. It's impossibly difficult to know exactly what to do and how to react to these circumstances. So today, we've opted to try to go forward, to do what we do the best we can do it, to stay our course, and we're going to try to talk about some sports. If you're offended by that, God bless you, I get it. Maybe there's a part of me that's somewhat offended by it, but this is our job, and we're going to try to do it the best we can do for you. But I do encourage you to tweet your emotions, your thoughts, so that we can have a shared experience, and I'll be reading them throughout our show today here on Undisputed. You can tweet us at @Undisputed. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your soul, whatever's on your mind, let us know what you went through last night. Let us know how you feel this morning about what you witnessed last night on Monday Night Football. And we'll share it. Maybe we'll try to make a little bit of sense of it. So thank you for bearing with us. And Jen, I hand it back to you.
All right, so there you go, man. Let me know what you think of Skip Bayless talking point on what happened yesterday and his thought process. Is this good enough? Nope, not to me. But of course, they ain't gonna prime example of white privilege. Prime example of white privilege. If this would have been anybody black, off with his head, cancel him, sensitivity training, they would have had to talk to group leaders, $500,000 fine. Crazy, right? Y'all leave a comment down below.